They're not giving any details. He got
Supposedly
a
she
car,
met some
but
guy on a base.
how did she get there? Did he come pick her up?
Sounds like it.
I mean, they're not giving any details. She went down there on her own somehow. It's crazy.
The first thing.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to,
Would someone from council be willing to read the acknowledgement? Deputy Mayor Judy.
Today, I acknowledge that the town of Bruderheim is located on Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis Nation of Alberta. The town of Bruderheim honors the first people of this nation. We recognize that we stand upon the land that carries the footsteps of the Cree, Métis, and Blackfoot, amongst other nations, who have been here for thousands of years. Therefore, the town of Bruderheim has an inherent responsibility to foster healthier relationships with First Peoples and further the calls to action as outlined with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Judy, and we'll call this meeting to order. Bruderheim Council meeting July 6th. Is there any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, administration would like to add 8.4, reduction in fees at Starlight Campground for emergent accommodations.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other changes? No. Anything from council? Okay, be looking for a motion to adopt agenda as amended. Councillor Wayne.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Thank you, Councillor Wayne. Any comments, questions, or concerns with that motion? Haven't heard none. Call for a vote. Anyone opposed to that motion? And the motion is carried. We have a delegation from the Alberta Recycling Management Authority report.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Brad, are you on there?
I am. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for attending.
Yes, and thanks for having me. Appreciate the invite. I'm not sure what's the best way to do this. If does council have a screen that we can look at these slides, or?
Yes, we do. If you want to share it on the screen, we can see it.
Okay. I think I need permission to share.
I just gave it to you, Brad.
Great. Thank you. There we go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Awesome. Great. And I'll go to, there we go. Okay. And yes, thank you again for allowing me to attend virtually. And I'm here to just provide a bit of an update from the curbside roundup that was held back on June 9th. And I'll just walk through the slides, and any questions as I go through the slides, please chime in. I'll respond accordingly. But yeah, I'll just start off with, setting up the curbside event with administration. We got great cooperation, and just a bit of a background and on how we started curbside events. I wanted to share with council a little bit of the planning, coordination, how you reached out to your residents and let them know about the event. And then I want to share the results on the positive reaction we got from the citizens of Bruderheim. So coming out of COVID, and just a little bit of background, with Alberta Recycling, we have approximately 360 registered collection sites. So this could either be a landfill, a transfer station, a recycling center. 113 communities across the province participate, and obviously the larger centers have multiple collection sites to accommodate their residents. And we monitor these collection sites on a regular basis. And what we were experiencing once we all were bombarded with COVID, volumes dropped considerably at the recycling centers across the province. So we kind of scratched our head trying to understand why that was happening. Obviously, people were a little nervous to venture out of their homes. And we thought, well, we're going to try a pilot a couple of years ago with the town of Bowles. Instead of asking the residents to go to their recycling center, we made a decision that we would just try it and go to them. So back in 2020, we worked with the municipality, the town of Bowles, and coordinated a roundup, and the volumes were just overwhelming. We had great success. So the following year, we thought, well, let's try this again. So we approached the town of Devon. And again, good positive results, lots of volume. And I'll go through your volume here shortly. So because of the success we had over the first 2 years that we piloted this, we thought, well, we got a good thing going here. And if residents are going to respond, let's reach out to more communities. So what we did is talk to the folks over at Wainwright, the town of Westlock, yourselves, and we have 2 more planned, one with Rocky Mountain House and a First Nations community, Enoch, just west of Edmonton. So we'll see how those last 2 events go. But, you know, with the Wainwright and Westlock event, again, the residents responded very positively. So working with your administrative staff, we developed a route that we could make sure we don't miss any residents within your community. And we went the same day the waste collection was provided to make sure the residents, when they sat out their garbage and waste, we made sure we were there the same day. And we worked with your waste service provider to make sure that they understood the items that were left by the curb were our responsibility to pick up and manage appropriately. So we had a bit of a game plan, working closely with your administration and with our staff. And it took a little over 1 day, surprisingly enough, just simply because of the volume. We thought, well, we'd be able to tackle your community in 1 day, but it resulted in we had to go back in day 2 because there was some residents that we missed. And actually it worked out well. The weather was very cooperative. Day 1, the Thursday, and then Friday we experienced some rain, but all in all, it went well. Then the type of advertising we provided, up to $2,000. Your community took full advantage of the advertisements in the local paper. We worked with your folks, created these postcards that are on the left-hand side that you could put at different locations throughout the community so people can pick up. And then also on our website, we promoted the event. You folks did the same. So just a bit of a flavor of how we got out to your residents. And we provided the town with up to $2,000 in funding to advertise this event, just to make sure your residents were aware. Just a quick shot of the team. There were 6 of us that drove the streets and picked up everything and consolidated everything, then took it out to the St. Michael's landfill site. And just some photos we wanted to share with you. Again, I thought your residents responded very well. It was surprising the volumes we picked up. You can see from left to right, tires, paint. What we did find is a lot of do-it-yourselfers, meaning folks that like to change their own oil. And we collected a large volume of used oil and filters. And then on the far right-hand side, you see the volume of paint that was set out by one of your residents. So this is a good example of what we experienced throughout the community. And we view this extremely positive because we all know they could always take the easy route out and put it in the waste bin or the black bag, sneak it through the garbage stream. But your residents were responsible and did set it on the curb and allowed us to go throughout your community and picking it up. We stopped by the town office after we did a few blocks and just wanted to show the administrative staff the volume that we collected in a short period of time. So this is your staff were standing in the back of a truck and pile of tires and paint that were accumulated within the first couple hours. And then we had some some recycle bags that we provided your staff with to hand out to the community. And we also, as we were driving the streets, if your residents walked out and, you know, made conversation with us, we would leave them one of these recycling bags. So, and some results. I'll just quickly go through the volumes that we collected. So again, we had 3 vehicles that we had available to us, and driving the streets, we consolidated all this material and took it out to the St. Michael's. So there was a fair amount of sorting and unloading and making sure we managed the material at their end appropriately. So the recyclers that are registered with us, it was at ease for them to pick it up and haul to the recycling facilities. So paint, again, quite surprising. Community year size, we collected 137 aerosol spray cans, 972 gallons of paint. And then these are part, a third, some more full of paint cans. And the photo just demonstrates the volumes that were collected. In tires, excuse me, 107 tires were collected that people parted with. So good numbers, again, in regards to community year size. Electronics, quite surprising. There was a large volume of electronics. We had over 1,000 items that were collected. You can see the 4.5 cages. We didn't think by sharing with you cage numbers meant too much. So we did an individual count, and well over 1,000 items, devices that were collected. And this is anywhere from televisions to microwaves to toasters, popcorn makers, vacuum cleaners, anything with a cord or a battery was collected. And then used oil, were 1,200 liters of used oil, which was quite surprising. And as I'd mentioned earlier, it just appears that you have a lot of do-it-yourselfers that prefer to change their own oil, and they are responsible. You could always dump it down the storm sewer or, you know, sneak it through the system, but we found your residents very responsible. 228 oil containers. So these are empty jugs that they didn't part with through the waste stream, and we've collected them, and they go through a recycling process with our used oil container recyclers. And then 66 oil filters. We did also collect a drum of antifreeze. So people that are flushing their rads and so on, we collected that at the same time and consolidated it all into a drum. And then lastly, household hazardous waste. Again, this is aerosols, WD-40, oven cleaner, things like that. Stuff you usually find underneath a sink that folks want to part with. So there was a fair volume of that that was collected. Obviously, we couldn't count the units, but again, a good response from the residents. And when we talk about 1 cubic meter bin, the photo kind of demonstrates what a cubic meter bin is. And again, 113 aerosols. This is not paint aerosols. This is outside the paint aerosols, like I was saying. It could be bug spray off, could be oven cleaner, could be WD-40. So any of those things. So again, a good response. They could always dump this down the drain or be irresponsible. And we found your residents quite cooperative in setting it out at the curb. So yeah, so I'm not sure if there's any questions. Again, a big thank you to your administrative staff. They made life so easy for us. They took the initiative to make sure your residents were aware of the event. The folks out at St. Michael's Regional Waste Commission were great. They accepted all the material and they had proper containment for us in advance. So there wasn't items laying around not properly contained for the recyclers to come by. But all in all, I was quite pleased with the folks in Bruderheim. They responded very appropriately. And at the end of the day, we certainly were quite pleased the way the event unfolded. So just wanted to thank council and the administrative staff to allowing us to come into your community. And again, it's quite surprising the stuff that, well, people hang on to for any particular reason. But when you can provide that service, that door-to-door service, they responded very appropriately. So kudos to the residents of Bruderheim. And again, thank you for allowing us to host this event in your community.
Thank you very much, Brad. Just wanted to say thank you so much to your organization for coming and doing this. And does council have any questions? No, it's just amazing. Are you coming back again next year?
It's interesting. You raise a question because both Olds and the town of Devon has asked if we would do the same, but we find we have to approach this on a population base of no greater than 5,000 or 6,000 people. So we're pretty selective. So yes, there could be the opportunity that we come back next year or the year after. We just don't have the resources to do a larger community, but we could be back in your community. Yeah.
That's great, Brad. Thank you to you and your staff for a great job. Well done.
All right. Okay. Appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Yeah,
Take
thanks
care.
for that presentation.
All righty. All righty. Have a great evening.
You too. We're looking for a motion from council to accept Brad's presentation as information. Councillor Dana.
I motion that we accept Brad's report as information.
Thank you very much, Councillor Dana. Any comments, questions, or concerns from council with the presentation? No worries. Okay, I'll call for a vote then. Anyone opposed to the motion? And the motion's carried. And we can move on to number 6, looking for a motion to adopt the minutes of June 15th. Councillor Ashley.
I motion that we accept the minutes from June 15th, 2022 regular meeting of council.
Thanks, Councillor Ashley. Any comments, questions, or concerns with the motion on the minutes? Okay, haven't heard none. We'll call for a vote. Anyone opposed to the motion? And that motion's carried. Now we move on to council priorities, and we'll start with information requests. We'll start with Deputy Mayor Judy. Any information requests?
A couple things has been brought up. The park benches that are over by the walk around park there by West Woodlands, is there any way that they can move them underneath the trees so when they're walking they can kind of take a rest and get cooled off from the sun as opposed to just walking out in the sun? And then what's happening up in Bruderheim, we heard about that up in my corner, so that's good. I believe that's everything. Thanks.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Judy. Councillor Dana.
Nothing today, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Len.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you, Councillor Len. Councillor Wayne.
Nothing at this time, thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Wayne. Councillor Ashley.
Nothing at this time.
Okay, thank you. I don't have anything to contribute. So 7.2 program requests, we'll go in reverse order. So Councillor Ashley, do you have any program requests?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you. Councillor Wayne.
Nothing at this time, thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Len.
Nothing at this time.
Thank you, Councillor Len. Councillor Dana.
Nothing today, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Dana. Deputy Mayor Judy.
Yeah, just can you guys share what's happening with the FCSS and their programs for the younger kids on our Facebook page and whatever? And why I say that is because I've met a bunch of new residents around, and they're just trying to figure out what to do with their kids for the summer. So if we can share whatever FCSS is doing, because I know they got programs going throughout, I just don't know what they are. I don't have kids there. But anyhow, just share it so that they get because I told them to link into our page and we have everything.
Yeah, we'll double check, but I'm pretty sure they shared earlier in the month, but I'll make sure it's going out regular through the summer.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Judy. I just have one question. A couple council meetings ago, it came up about what is the greatest need for our community from our MP, and I was just wondering when we might be seeing that come to council.
Mr. Mayor, we're preparing the strategic plan final copy here. We're working on it right now to release to public. So we thought it'd be strategic to bring that to the first council meeting that we return here in August.
Great, thank you. So that's information requests, and we'll move on to requests for decisions. Carol Mushmeyer, ICE rental policy amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Administration, like the purpose of this report to provide council with information related to allocating ice time in Bruderheim's Kara Mushmeyer Arena. The town council approved the ice allocation policy SER 082 as amended on July 6, 2022. Council passed the ice allocation policy SER 082 in March 2017. Recently, with the changes in ice use requests, changes to minor sports teams and where they are operating from, there was a need to revise our existing policy. Strategic plan areas: develop a balanced economy, opportunities for increased use of our facilities, build a safe and energetic community, ensuring recreation opportunities are available to our community and surrounding area, pursuing excellence in municipal leadership, setting policies that set priorities for services available within our community. In summary, the changes to policy include change the lead role to Director of Infrastructure, change the administrative responsibility to Chief Administrative Officer, change to priority 1, definition change from Bruderheim minor sports to minor ice users, deleted priority 2, Fort Saskatchewan minor sports, and replace it with adult ice users. This policy will be shared with all ice users that have already or plan to use the Kara Mushmeyer Arena. And we've attached the old policy and the new amended policy, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for that. Looking for a motion from council for the Kara Mushmeyer ice rental policy amendment. Councillor Wayne.
The town council approved the ice allocation policy SER 082 as amended on July 6, 2022.
Thank you for that, Councillor Wayne. Any comments, questions, or concerns with the motion from council? Just one comment. I want to thank our administration and CAO for arranging this and doing the meetings with Elk Island Wild and bringing us forward. Thank you very much. Councillor Wayne.
Just a quick question. It kind of pertains to this, but going into the next season, for the teams that are using our ice, are they able to see availability ice times online? Are they be able to do that this year, or is that going to be some time yet?
Mr. Mayor, through Councillor Lecco, our users we're already in negotiations and chatting and moving people around, so we're well into it already. So they've sort of indicated how many spots each of them went in their preferred times. So that's the process we always follow. So nothing's really changed, actually. So.
Okay.
And we've had requests from new user groups. And of course, we're letting our previous renters sort of gather their spots that they usually take. There's a pattern, which ones they usually take. And then we'll open it up to new user groups, of course.
Okay. I guess what I'm looking at is as well as are associations or teams able to see online if there's empty ice, or do they have to call in, or do they, like, there's talk, I think last year or the year before, of possibly doing it online so that they can go in and see what they have available, or maybe I don't know.
That's
Dreaming.
once all the contracts are done, then we would have available ice times. But right now we'd be going to our people that have always been here. If we opened it wide open, our repeat customers would not have opportunity to get their old ice times back. So we'll fill everything with the old, with the people that typically use our ice, and then we would go open. Yeah.
Okay.
What's ever left for availability, then we would post that for sure. So we typically are done by early mid-July, sort of. End of July. We're typically done with our contracts with users that are annually every year, right? And then we would post available ice after that.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the question, Councillor Wayne. Any other questions from council for administration on this motion? Okay, haven't heard none. We'll call for a vote. Anyone opposed to the motion? And the motion's carried. Now we move on to 8.2, Dedicated Senior Team Award.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Administration like to inform council of the opportunity to submit an application to the Society of Local Government Managers for the Dedicated Senior Team in a Municipality Award. The town council submit an application to the Society of Local Government Managers for the Dedicated Senior Team in a Municipality Award, sponsored through the Alberta Municipalities and Society of Local Government Managers. Council received information about the 2022 awards offered through Alberta Municipalities and the Society of Certified Local Government Managers. Winners of these awards will be announced in fall of 2022. Strategic plan areas: pursuing excellence in municipal leadership, an opportunity for council to share information and to recognize the work within our municipality. Summary: this is an opportunity for Bruderheim Council to submit an application in recognition of the work being done in our municipality. Communication plan: information will be shared in the fall, and we've attached the application, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for that. So we're looking for a motion from council for this. Councilor Rodino.
I motion that town council submit an application to the Society of Local Government Managers for the Dedicated Senior Team in a Municipality Award, sponsored through Alberta Municipalities and Society of Local Government Managers.
Thank you for that motion, Councilor Rodino. Any comments, questions, or concerns with that motion from council? Deputy Mayor?
I think this is a good opportunity. We see these different awards come up and they always want length of service and length of that, and we can't always complete that. So this is the next best. We'll take it.
Thank you. Yeah, it's an awesome opportunity to recognize our senior leadership and CAO. Thank you. So if there's no other comments, questions, or concerns, call for a vote. Anyone opposed to the motion? And the motion's carried. And now we move on to 8.3 MCSnet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Administration would like to provide council with opportunities to support MCSnet gig air service in Bruderheim. The town council directs administration to send a letter of support for the implementation of MCSnet gig air project as presented to council on June 15, 2022. Council history. Council has met with and heard from residents about their concerns with internet services in our community. MCSnet met with council on June 15, 2022 and provided information on services they can provide and options for our community to access those services, strategic plan areas, opportunities for faster internet service for our businesses in the community, create and maintain responsible infrastructure and opportunities to enhance existing services in our facilities while providing options to residents, a safe and energetic community. Internet is accessed by our youth in our schools and in our recreation facilities. Pursuing excellence in municipal leadership, offering a variety of services available within our community. In summary, MCSnet is waiting for council commitment and approval for this project. Once approved, they will proceed with setting up a contract for service, which will be brought back to council for approval. When the project's completed and MCSnet gig air is available in Bruderheim, there will be an opportunity to set up information meetings for residents and businesses residing within our community. That's everything, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for that. Looking for a motion from council for MCSnet opportunity. Deputy Mayor?
The town council directs administration to send a letter of support for the implementation of the gig air project as presented to council on June 15th.
Thank you for that
For
motion.
access, hold it for MCSnet, sorry.
Thank you for that motion, Deputy Mayor. So any comments, questions, or concerns? Councilor Len?
Yeah, when we got the presentation, it was wonderful. I only wish we could have had a more time frame to go more details into it. I didn't get enough out of it. And she did say at the end of the thing that she would be sending us more information about the packages and what, have we received any of that?
Mr. Mayor, through Councillor Filaro, that was sent shortly after the meeting to council through email. If you'd like a hard copy, we can get that for you.
I looked in the email. I didn't see it.
I think it was a couple the next day. Yeah, as I say, within.
Okay, but anyways, that's because I like to see a better breakdown. But I'm fully supportive of it. I just wanted to get more information. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Any other questions from council? Just one question. Did we happen to do any research at all on that opportunity?
Mr. Mayor, as far as looking into references and other communities, is that what you're asking?
Yep.
Yeah, we did. We called and everybody's been very happy. Whatever they said or committed to, MCSnet is exactly what happened.
Thank you. Councillor Wayne?
So just for clarification for residents, if they're listening, is there is no upfront cost to the town for this at all whatsoever. They're covering that cost and it's opt-in if you want it, right? Is that?
Mr. Mayor, through Council Echo, yes, that's absolutely correct. There's no upfront cost to the town of Bruderheim or the residents. The only thing that we'll be committing to is allowing them to use our fire hall to mount the first radio tower. And then residents, it's their option whether or not they want to give it a go.
So if there's multiple residents on the west side of town can't reach this, are they going to put another one up somewhere closer right away? Is that?
Mr. Mayor, through Council Echo, that was my understanding that if there was enough take up in different spots in town, then that would justify them putting another tower somewhere else.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the question, Councillor Wayne. Deputy Mayor Judy.
I've had the opportunity of being a customer of MCSnet for 10 years out in the rural. And anytime we had any problems, they have different types of, they couldn't get more powerful, more excellent service and great to work with. Oh, when I was at my last Alberta Hub meeting, that was and the members of the Alberta Hub and local. So that's a huge, big plus as well. So we're not dealing with a big company that doesn't hear us. They're a little company that's really about customer service. So that was always the good news that came back from there.
Thanks, Deputy Mayor Judy, and an Alberta company. And I think it gives an opportunity for some competition in our community, which is not a bad thing when it comes to internet. On the display there, is that what they're seeing? Is that information that? So if there's no other comments or questions on the motion, I'll call for a vote. Anyone opposed to the motion? And the motion's carried. So we can move on to 8.4, fees for campground.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We'd like to talk about, as you know, there's been emergent opportunities where people have reached out to us to use our campground. Come to mind would be the Wood Buffalo fires, the North Strathcona fires, the Bruderheim natural area fires. People have come with trailers and tents and short term. As you know, we in our budget, we have that we can put people up in a hotel for 3 days within our budget in case of an emergent situation. And so recently we've had a family that will be displaced till October, and they've reached out to us to ask if there was possibility for a discount at our campground. And so we talked about that we should actually, as you know, I can't change fees that are established through our fees and charges without coming to council. And so upon consideration, we'd like council to think about a 20% discount on the monthly rate of $844 for a full service. Sometimes people come with just a tent. So 20% discount if administration feels that it's an emergent situation. That could be evacuation related or family emergency. If they approach the town, we would like to offer a 20% reduction to make sure that we can cover costs for the utilities there. We unfortunately can't waive the entire cost, but we would like to offer that. And so we would add that in the 2023 fees and charges. We'd be adding that as a separate line, but for now, we would just be looking for a council motion to the end of 2022 for that reduction for emergent situations as determined by administration.
Thank you for that. So we're looking for a motion from council for a reduction in fees for a family that's displaced by fire.
Mr. Mayor, any emergent situation.
Okay, and do we have something written out for council to read for a motion or? I think Councillor Wayne had his hand up first. So.
Make a motion to reduce campground fees by 20% for emergent issues as the discretion of administration till the end of 2022.
Thank you for that motion, Councillor Wayne. Any comments, questions, or concerns, Councillor Len?
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful thing, especially when people have hardship. I honestly think 20% is not enough. I don't know where our break-even point is. I don't know what's 50%, 60%, or, I mean, I realize we have to make a little bit of money on it because of the utilities costs and water and sewer and all that. But in a case where it's a hardship to people, I think we have to be more forgiving. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Councillor Len. Councillor Wayne.
How much is it for a month? 1,000 or?
So, Mr. Mayor, we currently don't have a monthly rate. We took that away with the system, but if you do the math, it's $844 regular for full service. So we are suggesting that we give them $170 reduction on that per month, right? So if somebody only wanted to stay a week, that would be a 20% reduction for the week. A lot of times it's short-term rentals, but in this case, they want to stay close by to oversee the rebuilding of their home. So 20% is pretty close to break even for us. We don't do a huge markup at our campsite. Councillor Florida, just to answer that question. Cost of utilities is quite expensive over there.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Councillor Wayne. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns on this motion? Okay, call for a vote. Anyone opposed to this motion? And the motion's carried. Thank you very much. Move on to Mayor and Council Committee reports. Looking for a motion from Council to accept the Mayor and Council Committee reports as information. Councillor Dana.
I motion that council receive the mayor and council committee reports as information.
Thanks, Councillor Dana. Any comments, questions, or concerns with that motion? Okay, haven't heard none. Call for a vote. Anyone opposed to the motion? And the motion's carried. Now we're looking for a motion for the Chief Administrative Officer report. Councillor Dana.
I motion that council receive the chief administrative officer report as information.
Thanks, Councillor Dana. Any comments, questions, or concerns with that motion? Councillor Wayne.
Just want to say that I wanted to thank Public Works and Bob and Sherry Cote for all the work they did at Queen's Park. It looks awesome out there, so thank you for that. And then I'm sure that I believe there were some volunteers as well that came out to help, so thank you. Question I have is Shaw Cable, have they come back to say what they're doing yet?
Mr. Mayor, I believe that was in their report. I remember reviewing that. They've committed to finishing it this summer. So our Director of Infrastructure Services, Mr. Thomashat, has been on them weekly. So again, that's all we can do, right? So it's in our way for ground maintenance in the area. And so yeah, we are doing our best to get that addressed.
If that gets cut by accident, whatever, it affects a lot of people, and there's got to be a way to push these guys. I don't know what to. It's been months and months and months, and they said they'd do it once the ground was thawed and it was warm outside. So obviously not holding up to their end of the bargain. So thank you.
Thanks for the question.
Yes.
Thanks for the
Thank
question.
you, MCS
Councillor.
Net.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Councillor Wayne. I know they did reroute their cable because it was running over the sidewalk or the walking trail, and it doesn't do that anymore. Or the back alley, it goes down the
Still goes through properties.
yeah, it's going through the ditch. And, yeah.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just give an update about Brookside, if residents would like to hear that, if they're listening.
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Mayor, just received information that the collapse in Brookside was due to a clay tile storm pipe breaking. And we have replaced it with PVC, and they are starting to backfill right now. So services were not interrupted, and we'll backfill with gravel right now, and we will asphalt over the road later this summer.
Great, thank you for that update. Any other questions for CAO Pat on her report? Deputy Mayor?
I see you're going to be doing some more curbside painting. Can we make sure that we do in front of the seniors there this time as well,
Absolutely,
please?
Deputy Mayor.
And where else did I see some? I'll email you and find out.
And Mr. Mayor, just as an added to that, of course, that wasn't a budgeted item. We'll be coming back to council in August for a reserve transfer for that repair.
Thank you for the question, Deputy Mayor. Any other questions from council for the CAO report? I did have one question. I was just wondering how we're making out with the intermunicipal committee with Strathcona and Bruderheim and the hiring of the consultant.
Mr. Mayor, the list of consultants has been compiled and due to go out next week. It's very few consultants that we actually had to find a list of people that were available to do that work.
Okay, thank you. And the other question that I had, and then we'll go to Deputy Mayor Judy, is the painting on the 52nd Avenue, is that going to be done every other year kind of thing? Or is that just a one-time only deal?
Mr. Mayor, I requested that we do that with a machine because it's a very long. So we're in the queue for the painting company. They're just, when they're in the area, they'll be coming through here. So it will be done annually just by machine, not by humans.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Judy has a question.
At one time, there were talks about companies utilizing our wastewater, not for potable water, but just for usage in their plants. Has that anything ever come out of that?
Mr. Mayor, through Deputy Mayor, we've had a number of inquiries through industry partners and nothing as of yet. No contract's been signed as of yet.
So without being specific, has anything come from Lamont County?
Nothing has come with contract yet. Sorry.
Thanks for the question. Lots of interest in Lamont County, but we can't say anything specific. Yeah.
Deputy Mayor, I can tell you that we've had some fracking companies come to us and are signing up to use our bulk water. So that's good news again. When I first got here, that was a great revenue generator for us. So they'll be starting in about a month. So that's good news.
Thank you for the question, Deputy Mayor. Any other questions from council? If not, I just wanted to say that the Canada Day celebrations and the honoring for Emirates Musmeyer, that was very well done. Thank you very much. It's a great job. Thank you. So any other comments, questions, or concerns with the CAO report? If not, call for a vote. Anyone opposed to the motion? And the motion's carried. And the correspondence and information items, we need a motion from council to accept those items. Councilor Wayne.
Make a motion to receive the correspondence from June 10th to July 6th as information.
Thank you, Councilor Wayne. Any comments, questions, or concerns with that motion? Haven't heard none. Call for a vote. Anyone opposed to that motion? And the motion's carried. And there's no closed session, so just looking for a motion to adjourn. Councilor Wayne.
I make a motion to go home and enjoy this evening.
Thank you for that motion, Councilor Wayne. Anyone opposed to that motion? And the motion's carried. Thank you. And we are adjourned. So our next meeting's not until August.